Our learning cycle lesson was taught in second grade. The topic was varying strengths of magnets and was taught towards the end of a unit on magnets.
Our goals for this lesson were for students to make predictions, address common misconceptions, allow for student collaboration, ask open-ended questions, and allow for students to have active participation.
Our first goal was for students to make predictions using what they knew about magnets before they conducted the experiment, and then record it on their worksheet.
Write down a number. So what do scientists do before they conduct an experiment? They make predictions of what they think is going to happen.
To draw on students' prior knowledge, the teacher asked students what they have previously discussed in prior lessons in order to further their thinking and prepare them for making their predictions.
Okay, is the magnet, what do you know about magnetic fields? What did you learn yesterday about magnetic fields?
That magnetic fields are where the magnet.
During this lesson, we focused on addressing the common misconception that bigger magnets are stronger.
And I know in our experiment our bigger magnet was more magnetic, but that's not always the case, right? Typically it is, but it's not always the case. Even small magnets can be really strong.
The nature of science states that science is a social activity. During the experiment, we encouraged student collaboration by having students work together in small groups and communicate their ideas.
The person who has a big magnet, you guys need to share. You can work together to finish this, okay?
Keep just clipping on. Instead of clipping on,
Write that number down.
Throughout the lesson, the teachers asked the students open-ended questions to facilitate their learning. In this example, we asked an open-ended question to develop students' knowledge of process skills, specifically making predictions.
Why do you think magnet number 1 could hold more paper clips than magnet number 2? Nolan.
because the force was stronger and it was a lot stronger and bigger than the back. It doesn't have enough force on the back, so it can only hold like a couple.
Okay,
Like
good
1,
job.
3, 2, 1.
Our last goal was to ensure that students were actively participating in the activities. Each student had their own magnets or shared with a partner and participated in a hands-on activity during the lesson. The lesson itself followed the 5E model, which allows students to explore before a teacher explanation is given.
During the experiment, some students deviated from our instruction by placing the magnets on different surfaces, such as the desks and cabinets around the classroom. While this was not part of the activity, students were still exploring with the magnets. However, this became problematic when students were exploring during discussion. Something that we wanted to work on for our second lesson was giving more explicit instructions for behavior.
Although the common misconception that the bigger the magnet, the stronger it is was addressed during the discussion, our Engage activity seemed to reinforce this misconception because it showed a large magnet picking up a refrigerator. We believe that it is important for students to understand that magnetic strength doesn't always correlate with size by experiencing a hands-on activity. So in the future, we will obtain a small, powerful magnet from our school or another source if available. This will allow the students to have a better understanding of magnetic strength.
Our goals for the future are to explain behavior and safety rules prior to the start of the activities and to enforce them throughout the lesson. This will be especially important during the science circus when there are multiple activities throughout the room. Another future goal is to address common misconceptions more thoroughly to ensure that the misconceptions do not continue. Our last goal is to be aware of when students are having difficulty with the task and be prepared to model the skill or activity. This will ensure that the students are on task and focused on the main concepts of the lesson.